Hello and welcome to today's episode of the WholeHearted Living podcast with your host Deb Thorpe. And today we are going to be diving into the power of now. Okay, so you will likely have heard of this concept before, and so this is going to be serving as a reminder for you that all we have is this present moment. Now, as human beings, we have this ability to think many thoughts at the same time in quick succession, and most of them will relate to past experiences, past memories, also to possibilities in the future. And if you were to observe all of your thoughts throughout a 24-hour period, you would begin to see just how many of those thoughts are concerned with either the past or the future. There's very few relating to now, to this actual moment. And yet, this is the moment that we are in. Everything is now. The past has gone, the future's not yet here. Like, all we have is this present moment. And so being able to cultivate this practice of bringing ourselves into this present moment is super powerful and is actually a really important skill to develop when we talk about having this full, amazing, authentic, wholehearted life. Because how many times have you had the experience where it's maybe been you're at the pinnacle of a dream or a desire? So, maybe you've been working towards something for many years, whether it's like a dream vacation or a dream work situation or relationship or holiday or something that you have dreamed and thought about many times. And then you've got there and you kind of don't feel anything. Maybe you feel a bit numb, or like there's this glass wall between the experience and how you are then feeling on the inside. It feels like there's almost this see-through barrier that means that you're not like fully in it and not fully feeling it, and being confused about why that is, because logically you're in it, you've made it, you've got to the experience, and you should be feeling all of the stuff that goes with that. You've imagined this for so long. So what is it then that is stopping you? And it comes back partly to this practice of being able to be in the moment. The more that you can practice this, the more that it will come naturally to you. Okay, so one of the ways that we do this is to actively practice acceptance to all the parts of ourselves. Go back to the episode all about the secret to self-love, where I give you the practice of how to do this. Because what we're often doing is finding a way to move away from the discomfort or the pain or the suffering of the present moment and try and find something that is better, or that's going to take us out of that. Okay. Or we're already in a not particularly good feeling place, and our brain does this thing where it will just keep finding more and more things and evidence that keeps us in that place. So what we want to be able to do is practice this this way of being able to cultivate the acceptance with however we are in this present moment being absolutely okay. I already just saying this to people, you can see the uncomfortableness of it, because quite oftentimes we want to move away from where we currently are. Okay. But we want to really bring our awareness to, we only have this moment now. And that can be immensely liberating if you choose to see it that way, or it can feel really confining if you choose to see it that way. Okay, we're going to choose to see it as being really liberating, that in this moment and the next moment and the next moment that we find ourselves in, we have a choice about practicing bringing acceptance to our inner world and allowing us to then be fully in this present moment with whatever it's bringing. Now, of course, that means there's going to be times when that's not going to feel great, because we're not in a situation that we want to be in, or we're not feeling the way that we ideally want to feel. Okay. I'm inviting you to just allow that to be without judgment. Bring the acceptance in, which allows the love to come in. And maybe it doesn't fundamentally transform your experience from feeling pissed off and angry and annoyed in that moment to suddenly feeling free and happy and excited, but it will allow it all to soften, and it will allow you to have those parts of you in existence, or allow whatever experience is going on in this current moment, it will allow it all to be, and for you to choose what your response is going to be in that situation. Now, we're not aiming for perfection here. Remember one of the first podcast episodes where we talk about authenticity rather than perfection. There are many, many moments still now in life where I'll give in to the moment. I don't even know the reason why sometimes, when I'll just be feeling a bit meh, like it just is. Okay. There'll be some days when I will actively have the energy and the will to do a few things that I know might shift that energy. Right. I might go for a nice walk, take the dogs out, eat some good food. There might be some things that I actively do that will shift that. There's other times when it's like, do you know what? I'm all out of energy. I'm out of whatever it is. I'm just going to be in this place today, and that's okay. I get to go to bed, go to sleep, wake up. Tomorrow's a new day. Okay. So all of this, and if you've listened to the podcast from the beginning, you'll see how much I speak about acceptance and being okay with not being perfect, and being on this journey of not every single moment of your life is going to feel amazing and happy and fulfilling, because that's not human. Like, we have this whole range of experiences and emotions for a reason. What we get to do, and this is what the wholehearted living technique is all about, is that it teaches you how to navigate that in a way that you don't get stuck and caught up in it for days and at a time. My time now for remaining stuck, frustrated, stressed is so small. I typically won't go more than a day, 2 days at most, before I will start activating all of these tools and techniques, okay, which will enable me to learn, shift, grow out of it. What I'm talking about here is not judging yourself and criticizing yourself for the times when you find yourself in that place. And so that brings us back to the power of now. That in this moment, we get to bring our awareness to our inner world, to our environment, to our experience. We get to invite any parts of ourselves that want to be heard. We get to bring acceptance. We get to bring love. And then we get to choose how we respond and how we cultivate our experience of this moment. So that's the power of now in action. And, you know, we can go into all kinds of neuropsychology about all of this, in terms of the amount of energy that gets used by the brain when we're constantly digging up the past and thinking about the past, or we're constantly in the future. It's like separating out the energy. I mean, how many times have you got to the end of the day and you're just wiped, you're mentally wiped, because there's been so much thinking, so much processing. And so what we get to do by bringing our focus to the now, to the present moment, is that we're bringing all of that energy that would be used in the past and in the future, and we're bringing it into the now. And so it gives us more energy and more ability to be in this moment and choose what we're going to do with it. Okay, are we going to stay where we are in this moment? Okay, that's fine. At least we know we're owning it. That's okay. We're choosing it. Or are we going to actively move to shift it? Or gain a different perspective? Or, you know, tap into our creative thinking, our intuition? But at least we will be doing it all consciously, and we'll be actively choosing. There are times when I will not be feeling great and I want the chocolate or the ice cream, and I know that that's not going to make me feel particularly any better, but I'll give myself permission to have it. And there's other times when I'm not going to be feeling great and I'm going to go for the walk, or I'm going to do some meditation, or I'm going to listen to some music. Okay, all of it's okay. Bringing your awareness to now grants you the conscious choice of what you're doing. And then in that conscious choosing, you're gaining clarity about yourself and your experience. And so how this then ties into you then living in the fullness of yourself and your life is, the more that you practice this, the more that you are familiar with your inner world and how to navigate it, the more that you're in the moment, even if that's uncomfortable, the more that you have trained yourself to be in the moment then when it's amazing. When, you know, if you know that you can sit in discomfort and when it's not nice and when there's suffering, absolutely you're going to sit in the times when it's amazing, when you are actually living in the physical reality of a dream or a desire that you've had. You are going to give yourself permission to be in that and be in the fullness of that, because you've done the work in all the other times. You've set the precedence for what that's like for your system. And that for me is wholehearted living. It's not about being in this eternally positive, happy state and dismissing all of the other stuff. It's about going, no, I know how to be in all of this and all of it's okay. I'm going to do it without judgment, because being in all of this is the thing that brings me the fullness of the human experience, and that's what I'm here for. So for today's little exercise away from this podcast is to just bring your awareness at different points throughout the day to the present moment. Some people will just set an alarm on their phone of just like check in with yourself. But literally, as you go throughout the day, I just want you to just stop for 30 seconds, just do a check-in. How are you feeling? What's going on? What are you thinking about? Where, an exercise that I talk people through about this is, when was the last time you checked in with your toes? How do your toes feel? What is your toes experience as they go throughout today? Because that forces you to check in with yourself and a part of your body that you probably haven't done for a long time. So practice this art of checking in. Be in this moment now with anything that comes up without judgment. Practice the acceptance piece and watch how this begins to transform your experience and your energy levels as you go throughout the day. So as always, I love to hear from you, how this lands, how this resonates. If there's anything else you'd like me to cover on this topic, and I look forward to being back with you very soon. Bye for now.